Cool. How are you guys doing today? Good. Yeah. How many people are originally from Oklahoma City? Born and raised. Born and raised. Born and raised. And 5 of you guys. Where the rest of you guys come from? Where you guys from? Tulsa. Tulsa? Cool. Tulsa's changed a lot, man. Tulsa's growing a lot. How do you guys like Oklahoma City? You do any sports? You don't do any sports? Dad, you're not doing any sports? You gotta do any sports.
Only rock climbing.
Oh, that's good. Rock climbing's good. I'll get you strong. You do rock climbing? That's a sport. Yeah? You doing sports? You doing rock climbing too? All right, give me five. Knuckles? No knuckles, nothing? All right. I'm a little bit of a creeper. Just ask my wife, she'll tell you. So he's a creeper. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to buy some land. We're going to build some houses right here in Oklahoma City. And we got a good group of people down here that are already doing it, but we're doing it nationwide. And the biggest thing is learning how to do it where you don't have to pay taxes on it and getting into multifamily. How many people want to understand just the buying land and building house part of what we do in our profession? Raise your hand. How many people want to understand that, but also want to understand the multifamily sector of what we do? Okay, cool. Now, I'll tell you, 100% of everybody here will want and need to get into the multi-unit real estate game and the commercial game. And the reason why is because that's where taxes, are, where your tax money comes back to you, your money's more protected, and you actually put yourself in a position to leverage assets on the long game, where you're making passive income, where you're going in, you're making revenue from the asset itself, and you get the tax benefits from it. From those of you guys that don't know who I am, so we do a lot of target marketing with people that don't know who we are. I got started in the real estate game in 1998. I opened up a concrete company back in 1998. How you doing, bro? Hey, good to see you, man. I say hi to these guys. I saw you 24 hours ago. Yeah. So, look, guys, one of the big things is I got started in 1998, but I got started in business in 1993. I was 19 years old. I was in college, and I was in pharmacy school. I graduated from pharmacy school back in 1998 by the grace of God. And I actually left school for a few years because I landed up getting into multi-level marketing. I learned how to lease desk space instead of selling water filters back in the early 1990s. And I got better at the commercial game and leasing actual desk space in my offices for our distributorship. And that's how I made a living for a few years until I figured out the multi-level game. The good news was I did learn the multi-level game and I actually did it at the highest level. And I was one of the top money earners in our entire company back in 1997, right before the FTC shut us down. There's plenty of seats up here, guys. Come on in here. There's some seats right in here. And then we got one right here on the corner, and we got two right up front right here. Right up front. Now, when the FTC shut us down in 97, we were just scrambling, guys. And I had never done real estate. The only construction I had done was back when I was in college, sanding and drywall. That was it. Scraping floors, sanding and drywall. Okay, there's two seats up here. There's one up here right here, guys. Come on up and grab these seats, guys. Plenty of room. Now, what happened, guys, I opened up a concrete company, and immediately within the first year of opening up that concrete company, we did about $1.2 million in revenue our very first year in business back in 1998. And part of that was because of my marketing abilities and what we had learned in sales and marketing. But in 1999, we already had a thriving concrete company, and I started buying just rental homes. And those rental homes, I hated them because I was always dealing with the tenants myself, and they were a pain in the ass, and they didn't make me no money. I buy them on real estate contracts, or I buy them with a mortgage, and I make a few $100s a month. Wasn't even worth what I was making to even own them. So I said, bag these. I sold them, and in 2000, when I still own those, I landed up buying an old piece of garbage retail center. I've got to watch my mouth. All right, my wife is slapping. All right, and so I got a potty mouth. Sorry, guys. It's but I'm going to do good today. I'm going to do good today for you guys. All right. So here's the thing, guys. When we got into the retail space, it was because we needed a retail space for our concrete company. I got into retail, and I started doing these owner finance deals on these retail centers, and I was crushing it with them. I did my first one in 2000. I did another one that same year, and then I started building them in 2002 when we started doing ground-up construction. At the same time, in 1999, I started buying land and just building houses. There was a dude on a motorcycle that had a heavy New Zealand accent. Came over. We were pouring slabs for the builders. We had this concrete company, and this guy was building a house. And I went up to him the second day he showed up. We both happened to come check on our crews at the exact same time. And this guy was building a custom home 2 houses down from where we were actually pouring a slab for another builder. But this guy was interesting to me. And what was interesting to me was the fact that this guy showed up clean, wearing like a Tommy Bahama shirt, had like skull rings on, just looked cool, man. Had a few tattoos, and just looked like he was ready to go to a nightclub instead of going to work. But it was just 10 o'clock in the morning. But he's probably going to go have lunch with somebody, right? So when the second day, if you guys know how I am, I just go talk to everybody. So I went up to him and I said, hey, this your house, bro? And he goes, well, I'm going to sell it. And make a long story short, I asked him how much he was going to make. He told me he was going to make over $80,000, or he reckoned that he's going to make over $80,000 the way he put it. And so I started going 20, 40, 60, 80. Because I asked him how many months it was going to take him. And he goes, I do these in 4 to 5 months. So I'm like 20, 40, 60, 80, 4 months. That would double my income because I was netting about $20,000 a month pouring concrete. And I was like, shit, this guy didn't show up. And he just comes in, is there for 30, 40 minutes, and then he leaves, and then he goes and does whatever the hell else he does. So on the side, guys, I bought that lot, 3 lots over from him. I built my first house on that same lot. The lot on the other side is still for sale today. And so the bandwidth to be able to get into ground up construction and real estate is really, really viable, no matter where you are, and there's no lack of land, guys, even right here in Oklahoma City. Okay. Now, how many of you guys have how many of you guys have construction experience? Raise your hand if you guys have construction experience. A lot of you guys. Okay. How many of you guys have real estate experience? And watch, before you answer, hold on. How many of you guys own a single family home or commercial building that you get rent on that's not your personal home? Okay. So about maybe 10% of you guys. Okay, so cool. How many of you guys want to be able to own these type of assets?
I'm sorry, I own them. I don't rent.
You don't rent it out, but you own it. Cool. Well, I'm going to teach you how to make money on them. To make with all that, with everything that we do, you got to make money on it. So I'll teach you how to make money. Okay, so here's what we do, guys. I'm going to start off on where we're going to end today, and then I'm going to talk about how to get there. Okay. Because most people don't understand where real opportunity lies. And that's a big problem. Because if you don't understand where opportunity lies in the real estate market, how do you make money? And most people play guessing games. It's what I did all the way till 2009. And in 2009, I really learned the real estate game. Here's what's cool, is that in 2009, I was worth between 10 and $15 million, depending on how you evaluated my assets. And I did it without knowing what the hell I was doing. Okay, so you can still get wealthy without knowing what you're doing. But the good news is that when you learn what you're doing, you can go in and you can do a lot more. Because what we did from 2008 to 2016, we only got up to about maybe $25 million to $30 million in ownership of our net worth. But then from 2018 to where we are today, we've taken that to over $600 million, and about 80% of that we own. It's mine. We don't have investors or syndicators or anything. We own that. It's ours. And so the biggest thing is knowing how you get into that asset, and not only how you get into that asset, but how do you do it almost risk-free? Because we've never lost money on anything that we've ever done except for fix and flips. We've probably lost like 10 grand here, 5 grand there. How many of you guys are fix and flippers? Okay, it's a shitty business. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just telling you guys, and it's because I've done it. I know. I've done everything. And if you sit back and you look at it, the problem with fix and flipping is we're already in an inflated market, right? We're already in an inflated market. Now, you take an inflated purchase, you add more money to it, and then you go in and try to sell that thing. And if you hit it right, and you don't end up having to redo the electrical, the plumbing, or some of that stuff, then you end up making a profit. But so a lot of times, it takes so much time, so much stress, so much effort. You make a $20,000, $30,000 profit. It takes you 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And the profit you make, you may as well start flipping hamburgers, okay? And because you just make more money with zero risk. Now, here's the thing. The big asset game is where opportunity sits, okay? You guys, there's some seats right here. I got 2 right up front here. And then we got 1 right over here as well, okay? Okay, now, yeah, we got 1 right here. We got 2 right over here. Guys, 2 right up front. Okay, now, look, guys. How many of you guys understand how to underwrite a cap rate? Like, really understand what a cap rate is and know how to underwrite a cap rate on a piece of real estate? How many people? 1 person. Okay. Oh, you guys are going to learn how to underwrite a cap rate. okay? Because that's real estate, guys. That's real estate. If you don't understand, so we have one person that understands real estate in this room. And let me explain why. Underwriting real estate is the number one single most important thing in order to be able to make assets viable and real estate viable. That's how you protect yourself in the game. Here's the thing. If you go into Vegas, are they building billion-dollar casinos because the house is losing or because the house is winning?
Because they're winning.
Because the house is winning, right? So if you function on the same set of house rules that the casinos do, how many of you guys think you do a lot better in Vegas? Yes or no? Yes, right? If they're building billion-dollar casinos and they're functioning on a house set of rules, if you have the rule book and you function on those same set of rules, your opportunity to win is greater, is it not? Is it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so if we go in and the banks are lending the money, the bank is the house. But yet, one person knows how the banks work in this whole room. One person, guys. Is that dangerous?
Yeah.
You bet your ass that's dangerous because now you're playing guessing games. You're functioning on hope with your fingers crossed. I don't want anybody in this room by the time you leave here today to ever do that again. Make sense? Okay. So what a cap rate is it's the equivalence of like a stock when you go in and you get a return on your investment. So if you went in and you paid cash for an asset, the cap rate is the percentage of return that your money makes you on that asset. So if you go in and you buy like Intel stock, for sake of example, they're different, but I'm going to use this as an example because people understand stocks. And the stock goes up and you made a 6% return on your investment that year, that would be equivalent to like a 6% cap rate on your real estate. So if you went in and you paid $1 million for a piece of real estate and you made a 6% return on that $1 million after all expenses, after you went in and you paid for the lawns to get mowed, the lights to get fixed, the toilets that were clogged, your insurance, everything but the mortgage, okay? Your insurance, your property taxes, everything, all expenses. Your return is 6%. That's a 6% cap rate. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, here's 2023. What happened, guys, is that the interest rate's got really low. And in order to service the debt on an asset, you have to have enough return in order to service the debt on that asset. So when interest rates went really low, values went really high. Because with interest rates going down, so did cap rates. Okay? So cap rates, when cap rates go down, values go up. Okay? Now, cap rates and interest rates will always run somewhat in alignment. And with the banks, they always have to run in alignment. Because if you can't service the debt on that asset, the bank's not going to give you a loan. Make sense? Okay, so when we go in, guys, and some of you guys are sitting back going, what does this have to do with building houses? Everything, guys, everything. Because if you don't understand how the banks work, how are you going to get money? Make sense? Okay, so we're going to back into this to teach you guys how to make money, how to get money from the banks. Because how many people have an extra $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 sitting in your bank account to go buy a piece of land to build a house? Anybody? Okay, you're my new best friend. Okay, so if you don't, most people don't, guys, and if you want the bank to be able to take on that note for you, you have to understand this. Does that make sense? We're going to teach you how the bank works. So as I run through this today, I want you guys to understand that I'm building up to how you get money from the banks. How many of you guys are immigrants, not from the United States? Raise your hand. Didn't go through our U.S. education system. Did not go through our U.S. education system. If you're an immigrant, you didn't go through our U.S. education system. Keep your hand up. Okay. So these two gentlemen, 3, 4. Why did you come to America?
Because I have to get married.
You had to get married?
Believe it or not, that's the truth.
What really brought you here, though? Why did you stay? Because not outside your wife. Why did you come to America?
Well,
Why did you find a nice, pretty Swedish girl or something?
no, I met her over there in Mexico.
Okay.
But, we got together and everything. She got pregnant, and I didn't know she was from over here, and I had to come and get married.
Okay. You had to come here. How about yourself, bro?
Well, I used to have a better opportunity.
Better opportunity. How about you?
Better life for myself and my family.
Better life. You have to tell your wife. I didn't tell you that. For what reason? Why did you come to America?
Better life for myself.
Better life. Better life. Okay. How about you? Why did you come to America? Was your hand up? Oh, your hand up. Why did you come to America? Better opportunities. What was wrong with your country?
One of the things, Latin America, one of the things that is there's no access to money is not as easy as you.
Yeah.
So with money, you can
Do
more
shit. You
without.
can do things, right, with money.
So, yes, sir.
Here's the thing, guys. These folks with their hands up, I'll always put more money on them than I do our US people, okay? And here's why. We're born in America. We're the land of the free, home of the brave, land of opportunity, where our streets are paved in gold. People come from other countries for opportunity, for a better life, and to be able to come in and make money. Yet people who are born and raised here spend 13,000 hours in a jacked up education system that teaches us how to go out and become good employees and not take advantage of our U.S. education, of our U.S. Attributes that our forefathers fought for. Our forefathers went from Virginia down to Pennsylvania, a lot of them barefoot in the snow to fight for our freedom, and we don't take advantage of it. Look, guys, the Rockefellers put an education system together that's outdated to teach you guys how to be great employees. You spent 13,000 hours in that education system, but one person understands what a cap rate is. Is there a problem? It's a problem, okay?
Yeah.
And the reason that I'll put my money behind the people that are from other countries that are immigrants is because they come here for opportunity. And the big thing, ma'am, there's a seat right up here for you, right up here. There's 2 seats right up here too as well, guys. You guys can come right up here, right up front. There's 2 seats. Okay? Now look, guys, people who were born and raised here don't take advantage of it because our education system, we're born to win. You have millions of sperm cells. You're the winning sperm cell. We're born to win, but through life, we're conditioned to lose. We're broken down to tell us that our dreams are not real. You can't do it. In fact, some of you guys will leave here today and say, hey, that guy that you're talking, he doesn't know shit from shit. Good. I'm a guy that doesn't know shit from shit, but I have $160 million under construction right now. I hope I continue not knowing shit for shit the way I know not shit for shit today. But the reality is, guys, is that in time, when you guys understand that our education system is broken, you'll understand that what I'm telling you guys up here works. And just because you're not taught this in school doesn't make it wrong. No, you're just not taught it in school. So it sucks. We have CPAs that went through higher education that don't even understand what I'm going to talk about today. That's a problem, okay? So I'm going to teach you guys what the house cards tell us. Now, 2001, interest rates go down. We have an apartment complex. You can probably look outside, find an apartment complex. Same walls, same carpet, same roofs, same tenants from 2001 to today. Revenue hasn't changed. In fact, revenue probably has went up since then because rents have probably increased. But let's say that the revenue didn't go up. And we have the exact same revenue that we had in 2001 today. Same occupancy, same wall, same carpet, same everything. And let's say that asset brought in $200,000 a year in revenue. And let's say after you paid all your bills, you have $100,000 left on that asset. The way you assess value equals your net operating income divided by your cap rate, okay? This is what banks use to evaluate what an asset is worth, guys. This is how they figure out what an asset value is. And so they're looking at the cap rate, which is equivalent to the interest rates, right? And so if you take that $100,000 that you have in 2001, and let's see, what were interest rates at in 2001, ladies and gentlemen? Where were they at? 3%, sub 3%, right? So if we take an asset at 3% on our cap rate, 3% interest rate, 3% cap rate, and we divide that, who has a phone? Who has a calculator on their phone? Everybody does. Get your phones out. What's 100,000 divided by 3%? What is it?
I was just doing the math in my head.
What is it? 3.3 million, right? So it equals 3.3 million. Okay, now, same asset, same everything, same revenue, same walls, 2005, or 2025, sorry. I'm behind, guys, 2025. 2021, 2025. I'm just giving my age away here. Okay, 100K divided by, where are interest rates today, guys?
6, 8.
6, 7, 8.
7,
What if we just take like 6.5%? Okay, that's even a little lower than what they are, but let's take 6.5%. Take that same $100,000 divided by 6.5%. What's the value of that asset? $1.5 million. $2.7 trillion, guys. $2.7 trillion of distressed commercial assets are coming to the market over the next 16 months because of this right here. How do you go in when somebody bought an asset that in 2021 was worth $3.3 million? How do you go in and get a mortgage on it and refinance it or sell it when it's only worth $1.5 million to the bank? Can you?
Yes.
Not unless it goes into foreclosure or they sell it short, right? So what's happening with a lot of apartment syndicators and multifamily right now is they're doing loan mods because the values of these assets are only half of what they were just 3 or 4 years ago. And what happens is these guys go in and they purchase these things and they want to go in and make as much money as possible. Where they make their money is on the exit by increasing the value of that asset. Well, what ends up happening is they end up getting mortgages that are like these 5-1 arms, which means it's a 5-year fixed rate mortgage. And in year number 5, it becomes a volatile adjustable rate mortgage. And so when it becomes volatile, it goes from a 3% interest rate or whatever terms they have, all the way up to our current market conditions, and probably in excess of 6.5%. So now they can't refinance that asset. Problem, okay? $2.7 trillion worth of problems just in the United States. Does that make sense? And so where opportunity lies is right there for people that are interested in the commercial asset game. Now, why is that important to you guys? Because when you guys go in and just generate 6 figures with your money, the goal is not to just go out and spend that money, but to invest that money, to go out and compound that money, to go out. How many of you guys want to go out and make $180,000 on a bill and send $80,000 of it to the IRS? How many of you guys want to do that? How many of you guys want to send a check for $80,000 to the IRS? Anybody? I don't want to send a check for $80,000. So here's the thing, guys. If you guys ever see me wear my shirt that says resume up, it's because every single person in here is going to be forced to resume into higher assets. But if you don't understand this right here, you'll end up losing. The way you understand how to underwrite assets is understanding this right here. Because if you can't underwrite to this right here, you can't build it. Does that make sense? Because again, if you build it and you can't get out of it, you can't get a loan for it, it ain't worth a shit. Make sense? Okay, so now let's build some houses. You guys ready to take this and build some houses with it?
Yes.
Okay, how many people I lose? How many people are completely confused? Anybody? You guys all got this? Okay, I'm underwriting for me. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's build some houses. Okay, now, guys, there's a bunch of people. In fact, they're trying to model after what I'm doing. These guys don't know what the shit they're doing. Okay, I've been doing this for too damn long. Let me explain our business model to you guys. Let me explain to you guys why it works so well. Okay, the biggest thing, guys, is you can go in, you can build $1 million homes, and you can make profits doing it. But if the market compresses or something happens in the market, and that little tiny bit of volatility in that market adjusts, what ends up happening is it puts you vulnerable, right? So only 2% of our population is the ultra wealthy. Okay. Now, 74% is our median and lower median home buyers. These guys are in homes about 400K and lower, okay? Now, the reason that we don't function on that 74% is because to make money, you have to go where money exists. Does that make sense? These guys don't have enough bandwidth. Let the D.R. Hortons of the world, let the Pulte's, the Lennar homes, the LGI homes, let those guys do that. The reason that I don't like the fix and flip game is because you land up falling into this market sector right here, okay? That's why I don't like it, because your profitability is too low. So if you go out, you buy a piece of land, and your profitability is $60,000, $70,000, so some people sit back and go, damn, I'll make $60,000, $70,000. What if the market compresses? You guys realize that out of that 74%, over 85% of those people, if there's a $500 difference in income where they lose $500 in a 30-day period, in less than 60 days, they'll be delinquent on their home, their car, and their credit cards. 60 days, real statistic, guys. 85% of these people right here, $500 in volatility. So the reason that I don't like that is because those are the homes that get compressed first. And so if you have a $60,000 profitability on that house, and it goes down to $30,000 and it takes you 5-6 months to build it, you may as well go flip burgers. Okay? Less risk and more profitable. Make sense? Okay. Now, The 2%, guys, when we look at the 2%, that's the ultra wealthy. These are homes in excess of $1.5 million. Now, the reason we don't function there, and I tell you guys, there's guys on the internet, so I made $750,000 on my $2.5 million home. Good for you. Let me tell you the story of my friends that went out of business when they were building $1 million homes in 2008. Okay? Because every single one of my friends that was building $1 million homes in 2008 all went out of business, even took their other companies down. I had a buddy that owned Allstate agencies, and he lost all his Allstate agencies, lost his house in the country club area, and on 2 homes, guys, because these homes were at that time 1.5 million, which is probably equivalent to 2.5 million today. Does that make sense? And it was the burn of having to feed that mortgage payment. Because how many people can afford to pay a mortgage payment on a $2.5 million home today that's sitting here today, every month, month over month? How many people can afford just to burn that cash? It's called trash can money. How many of you guys have trash can money to burn on a $2.5 million home? Anybody? Nobody, not one person, guys. And so don't build them, okay? They're not safe. I want to put you guys in a position where you have more of a recession-proof area. In 2008, guys, we were building over 65 homes a year. And every single house that we sold, we profited from. And it was a housing crisis. When Lehman Brothers collapsed in 2008, guys, we were in the heat of the worst housing crisis the U.S. had ever faced. But yet, we had concrete companies, we were building houses, we had retail centers going up, and the one thing that kept profiting, ironically enough, was houses. We kept selling houses. But it was in the 24% of the housing sector. That's the upper middle class, guys. And I got there on accident. I didn't do it on purpose. That was the house the guy on the motorcycle was building when I saw him. So I just duplicated his model. I just copied what he was doing, and it just so happened that this was the demographic that he was building in, and that's the demographics I stayed in. It wasn't because I was a genius. I just figured out, but I recognized it in 2008. And when I recognized it, this is the upper middle class. Was when my dad was an accountant for 30, well, he's been an accountant for like 50 some years now, but he was an accountant for 32 years professionally, and then now he's retired, but still works a little bit at a church doing accounting work. But my dad was working for me doing accounting, and at the end of the year, my dad goes, "You have some tax liability." I said, "There's no freaking way, Dad. There's just no way." I said, "We didn't make no money." And he said, "Yeah, you did." And I said, "On what?" And he goes, "Your houses." He goes, "You made money on every single one of your homes." I said, "No way, I fire sold everything." And he goes, "No, you have a tax liability." I didn't believe him. I went to his house. I sat down. We went through every house, and I couldn't believe it. The house that we made the least amount on was $48,000. Every single house we made money on, guys, between $48,000 and $52,000. And I sat back and go, "There's no way." And so you got to understand that it was November of 2008 where like the blinders were pulled off of our face. How many of you guys went through the 2008 recession? Okay, so watch. Follow these months here. November. Okay, October. People were talking about it. October, you're in denial. You're like, ain't gonna affect me. Haven't really touched me yet. November, ain't gonna affect me. Still haven't really touched me yet. End of November, you're like, damn, something's wrong. December, you're like, oh shit. December of 2008, okay? So this is where like we're starting to like try to fire sell stuff. January 2009, February 2009, you're in mental shit mode. You're like, oh my God mode. Between December of 2008 and March of 2009, phones weren't ringing. I go to my office, I pick up the phone and be like, "Damn, is the phone working?" I asked the girls, "Say, you guys got any calls?" The phones weren't ringing, guys. I picked it up, I have a dial tone, and said, "There's no way." Like the first time historically. That was the 2008 recession. Yet homes were selling, guys. And we made a profit. When we did the taxes, and it wasn't until October of that following year, because I filed an extension, I do every year, and we filing our corporate tax returns in September, and then we're doing our personal tax returns in October. I sat back with my dad of 2009, and I said, "No way did we make a profit." He said, "Yes." So I said, "Cool. I'm going to take this. I'm going to pay my taxes. That sucks. And then I'm going to go make some money with it." I went to every single subcontractor that was working for him. I said, "We're going to keep building homes, guys, but we're going to do it under my assessment." Everybody took a little pay cut. I told everybody, you can't bid the job. I'm going to tell you what you can make, and you can either say yay or no. The people that said yay are still in business today. The ones that said no, most of them went out of business. Some of them might be in business, but it didn't really matter because I don't care anyways because they weren't a part of our business. But most of them went out of business. And we continued selling homes. We just adjusted our market a little bit. Now, here's the thing. You guys ever go through a market compression like COVID, and you had a favorite restaurant, but then you go into COVID and they took your favorite food items off the menu? You guys ever done that? Have you guys ever done that? Okay. Do you ever go back to that restaurant? You're like, damn, no. And I'll give you an example. Like, we don't eat out a lot, but I remember there was an Applebee's that was built right by our home when my wife and I were younger. We were like in our late 20s, and we never ate Applebee's, but my wife liked Applebee's because it had fresh vegetables, and they would cook fresh vegetables. When the 2008 recession hit, they went to frozen vegetables during the recession. Never ate at Applebee's since, because they got rid of that food item. Builders in 2008, you showed up, and I happened to be a broker. So I would go into the other people's houses, my little lockbox key. I'd go in, I'd look at the other builders' homes. I see Home Depot boxes with glacier-made products on there, standard, American standard appliances, just different cheap stuff that they were buying off the shelf at Home Depot. Those homes were sitting on the market. The biggest problem that most people make when there's a market compression is they go, I can't sell it for as much, so I'm going to take for my build and I'm going to give people less so I can make my price accommodate the current market. It's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is figure out a way to be more strategic on wastefulness and what you're doing with your builds and put more money into them. So in 2009, we went in and I moved from one municipality that had $12,000 worth of impact fees, and I moved to a municipality in the county that had $0 in impact fees and a $2,000 for plan review fees. Saved me $10,000. Now, I took that $10,000 and I put it into amenities, guys. I had a guy, his name was Bob, and Bob would tell me, he goes, we were doing commercial buildings. We were flipping commercial retail buildings in 2009 and 10. And Bob goes, you do these things right, Jerome, we'll sell them. We partnered up together for a couple of years, and Bob Cantor would go in, I'd go in, and we were putting like $6 flooring in commercial buildings. And we were insulating these things. And I was telling Bob, I was like, bro, these things, we're not going to be able to sell these things. And so Bob landed, goes, Jerome, just put it in. You put it in, we'll sell it. And so we landed up selling every single building to investors, and we profited from every one. And I did the exact same thing in my homes. And every single house sold. Within the first 3 homes, we went from $85,000 profitability back up to over $110,000 in profitability in less than 6 months because of what we were doing with our homes. Because sophisticated buyers, these people right here, guys, these people are still out there. They still have money. These are our grandparents. These are our parents. These are people that worked a 30-year career. They bought a house in the 1970s, 1980s. It's went up $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. They're selling it. They're retired. They take that money and they move and they go into a more fluent area. A lot of them are cash buyers. And they go in and they still haven't spent all the money. But these people are smart buyers. They're not going to go in and spend money on garbage. Does that make sense? When people get sophisticated and when people want their dollars to go further, is when there's a compressed market. They'll still buy. There's still buyers out there. The market just doesn't dry up. But what they buy changes. And they're going to put their money where there's value. Does that make sense? And so if you want to be recession proof, you got to put your money right here. And so that's what we do all the time. Now, what this looks like is this looks like homes from $600K to $1.5 million. Okay? These are homes from 1,700 square feet to about 3,000, maybe 3,500. I'd still like staying about that 3,000 square foot mark. Okay? And the reason why is because in market compressions, guys, and notice that everything I talk about, what I started with, I'm talking about what? Market compressions, right? In the real estate sector, commercial. When we're talking about residential, I'm talking about market compressions. Ask me how many loan mods I have. I have 0. How much real estate we have? We have over 600 million. We don't have anything in financial distress. Every single house we're still building, they're selling. We're making profits on every single one of them. How? Because everything I do functions around the worst case scenario. You need an exit strategy on everything you do. Doesn't matter what you're buying, what you're selling, and what you're building. You need an exit strategy. The exit strategy is always underwritten, not for the base case scenario, but for the worst case scenario. Does that make sense? Because how many people want to go get rich and then land up, they find out they're going to go broke doing something? Anybody? Nobody. Nobody does. Okay? How many people came here to make money? Raise your hand. All right. Cool. Now, let's talk about your area right here, specifically. Where do the doctors, lawyers, scientists, self-employed entrepreneurs that own successful plumbing companies, electrical companies? Do they live in the same neighborhood as the people that work as the clerks at the grocery store, the firefighters? Do they? No. Okay. Where do these people live, guys? What neighborhoods here? In Oklahoma City, what neighborhoods? What is it? Galardia? Galardia? Where at? Nickelville? Nichols. Nicholsville? Hills, Nichols Hills. Where else? Edmond? How come every city has an Edmond? Must have been a successful guy. What else, guys?
Cedar Valley.
Cedar Valley? Where else?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek? If I misspell them, don't worry about it, guys. I make more than an English.
Revendell,
Okay. What is it?
Revendell.
Revendale? Okay. What are people that have ATVs, four-wheelers, horses, equestrian people? What are these people that want a little more land? Where do they live? Just right outside of town?
Mustang.
Where do they live?
Mustang, Oklahoma.
Where is it?
Mustang?
Mustang?
Yeah, we do a lot of property. Like five
Arcadia?
acres.
Look at Arcadia's all this money, man. Phoenix, Arcadia's money too.
Mustang.
What up, Tavon?
Piedmont.
Piedmont.
Yeah. I closed one house down here.
Okay, cool, we got enough. Now, let's take a look at these. Which one of these areas has the most ground-up construction and residential homes going on? Which one?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, Mustang? Yukon?
More.
Okay, Yukon does, where else?
More, Oklahoma. More has a lot of development going around it.
What is it?
More, Oklahoma.
Mora?
Yeah, more. So they have residential and commercial buildings going all around where I'm at least. I don't know. That's where we're working at, so it's pretty good.
I don't know what the hell, don't worry, I make more than an English teacher. I don't know how to spell. Okay, so how about these other ones? How about, Galardia, Nichols Hills, and these ones? Not really? Okay, so they don't have one. Okay, so they're affluent, but they're you can go do infill in those areas. What I'm looking for more land is stuff like this. Okay, how is Arcadia? Is there land up there? There's land up there?
There
is. Cheap land or not cheap land? Cheap land? Not cheap land. Doesn't matter. I'm not looking for cheap land, guys. Remember, we're not looking for Glacier Blade and American Standard, all right? That's not what we're looking for, okay? Don't worry about cheap land. I want you guys to get that out of your brains right now. If you look for cheap land, you're gonna build garbage, you're gonna build cheap homes. You wanna build cheap homes? You make cheap profits. How many of you guys wanna make cheap profits? Stop looking for cheap land. Everybody's looking for cheap land, but you're trying to play it safe. Look for land that works. Does that make sense? Look for land that works. When land works, that's when you make money. Okay? Don't play the scared game. Scared money doesn't make money. Okay? Educated minds make money. Educated minds. You know why you guys are all here? To educate your mind. Yeah? Protect yourself financially. Okay? I'll teach you what I know. I don't lose money, guys. I've only lost money on fix and flips. That's it. Or other people's dumbass investments. That's the only thing I've done. I don't invest in anybody else's stuff. I only invest in mine. Because 100% of everybody else's stuff I've ever invested in, I've lost 100% of my money in all your guys' other crap that you guys do. So I don't invest with anybody anymore. My wife goes, promise me you'll never invest with anybody else ever again. You'll only invest in your stuff. I go, babe, I promise. Because I don't lose money in my stuff. I only lose money in other people's crazy shit. Crazy dumb shit that they do. Putting satellites on moons and shit. Okay, so here's what we do, guys. We go into these areas. How much is land in Mustang? It doesn't matter the size of the land. All that matters where I can build a house. The size of the lot does not matter, okay? It's the price per pad site, okay? How much does a piece of land cost in Deer Creek?
I can tell you in Mustang for sure. For 3 acres, I think you're paying about $380,000 for
Okay.
3 acres. No amenities.
How about for a pad site? Not 3.5 acres, just a pad site.
60, 70.
How much?
60, 70, yeah.
60, 70,000? Okay, 60 to 70? How about in Arcadia? About 40 to 50? How about like more in these other areas? Yukon. How about Yukon? How much?
70.
Damn, you guys land out here is cheap. Okay, yes. How about Deer Creek? How much is Deer Creek? About 100K?
Yeah, Cedar Valley's 105, 110.
Okay, now, and I'm gonna look this up on my phone too real quick. How much are houses selling for in this business model right here? How much are houses selling for in Mustang?
270,
How much?
270,
270?
starting.
No, we're not doing that. That's not this business model, right?
No way.
You're right here. I'm not even touching that. There's no money there.
You
Can't make no money.
Probably like 750,000 around there.
How much?
750, 900
750 to
realistically.
900?
Yeah,
In
sometimes you
Mustang?
get,
So 750
yeah.
to
Sometimes you get a
900K.
million.
Okay, that I could make some money. Okay, how about Arcadia? How much the house is selling for in Arcadia? Same? About 750 and 900? How about Yukon and more?
Depending on the area, about the same thing.
Yeah, about the same too,
Okay,
yeah.
so about the same. So 750 and 900.
The best bang for your buck is probably Tuttle though.
Tuttle? We haven't even talked about Tuttle.
Should have took that seat in the front. Really would most of the time.
Talk about Tuttle, I think about Orange County choppers. There's remember the Tuttles? Orange County choppers? Anybody? There's no motorcycle people in here?
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Like, like two more, damn.
Everybody knows.
Like, those are my people.
I used to watch them on TV, so.
All right. Okay, Deer Creek. So what are we looking at in Deer Creek for these $100,000 lots? How much the house is selling for in this business model?
Same number, 7 plus.
7 plus? How about Tuttle?
It depends on the square footage also.
6 plus.
6 plus? Okay, so 600 plus. Okay, so we got enough areas. Let me look real quick, guys, just to compare this to what you guys are telling me, just so that I can confirm. I just like feeling good about it. Where are you looking for land at right now? Where are
I'm
you
in the
looking?
Plaza District, so I'm getting high
High end.
sale, yeah, sale levels.
I know you look at some of your projects.
Yeah, it's an infill, so I got a lot of comps right there.
$1 million homes for sale in Mustang.
Really nice one.
I just want to see where they're at. All right, so we go in, let's go look at Zillow. Okay, so we got, let's see. Okay, $980,000 home on 1.79 acres, 2,900 square feet. $900,000 home, 3,010 square feet over on Harvard Way. $900,000 home, that's a big home, 4,300 square feet. That's a big home for 900 grand. We don't want to build out big, guys, okay? And I'll explain why here in a second. 750 for 3,200 square feet, 740 for 3,400 square feet, 740, 730, 700 for 2,662 square feet on Baker Plan. That looks a little bit more like it, like that. Maybe 700, 650, 645, 428, 618, okay. So 615 for 2,100 square feet. Okay, these homes per square foot are a little bit less. What's more affluent than Mustang, guys? Like Mustang will work, but I want to go into a better area. What is it?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek? Okay, so Deer Creek. You can make some money there. You can make some money there. I'm just gonna give you a better area. $1 million homes in Deer Creek, Oklahoma. Okay,
You should know that Deer Creek isn't necessarily a city though.
It's a county.
Yeah, it's technically Edmond. It's just like that outskirts area.
Yeah. That's all right. As long as it'll get me there on Google. All right, this is better, guys. Okay, smaller homes, higher prices. So we got like $850,000 homes, 3,000 square feet. We got a 2,400 square foot house at 600 grand. We got a $600,000 home at 2,400 square feet. That one looks older. That's an older home. 375. Okay, so we go in, we're looking at, some of these are still small. Those are all older ones. There's an area there in Deer Creek that's older, isn't there? With cost-effective homes.
Look up Tuttle. I think you'll like Tuttle.
Well, this one's good too. 600,000, 2,100 square feet. And I like this. This stuff is good. $605,000 for 2,300 square feet. So some of these 1.3 million for 3,800 square feet. And what I'm looking at, guys, is I'm looking at price per square foot, and then I start looking at days on the market, okay? So there's two things you guys be looking at, price per square foot, and days on the market. Because if you sell it for a lot of money, but you have to sit on it for 6 months, is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Stress too high, and that 6 months, you could have built a whole other house. Okay? Now look at, you said Tuttle? Just look at Tuttle. $1 million homes for sale near Tuttle, Oklahoma. Okay. Okay, let's go in here. Oh, I can tell just by you the first couple that pull up, I like Tuttle. Okay. $620,000, 2,400 square feet, 635, 2,300 square feet, 2,500 square feet for 645, $700,000 for 2,300 square feet. Okay, Tuttle's good too. I like Tuttle. There's some smaller ones in Tuttle as well. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. This gives me a better idea. Now, when we go in, let's do this. Now, these homes, guys, we're going to build something a little bit nicer, but we're not going to get crazy. We're in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma's real close to like what Dallas looks like. Homes are always bigger in Texas. You guys are an extension. How many of you guys feel like you're an extension of Texas? Or you guys like, hell no, we're not. Is that offend Oklahoma? Is that offend? Does that offend you guys? Like, I'm an extension of Texas. All right, I hit a sensitive line. Okay. So I'm just telling you, man, economics in Texas makes sense. Those guys know how to build highways and build cities, man. Whether you like them, love them, hate them, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Texas has their shit going on, right? Okay, so I'm just saying. All right. Now, I would sit back because you guys understand. You guys are on the Golden Beltway of the Metroplex and get from Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Like the Metroplex is, and I'm buying land on both sides of the Metroplex. I own land on both sides, coming through Salina, coming up the Golden Beltway. That's what they call it, the Golden Beltway. That's where money's made. Berkshire Hathaway is on the right-hand side, and Jerry Jones is on the left-hand side. Paramount's up on top someplace, and we're sitting in between, just picking up lots, right in between, plucking little lots away from those guys. So you got the legacy developments, that's all Jerry Jones. Everything else on the other side of the highway is all Berkshire Hathaway. That's money, guys. Okay? And you guys are in that Golden Beltway coming up. Okay? So just understand that. Economics are moving in your guys' favor. But the cost of living here is still very, very reasonable. Okay? So when we go in, guys, we're going to go in, and let's say that we go in, the lots are inexpensive on there. I saw lots for $75,000, $100,000. I saw some lots for $350,000, but they were big parcels and stuff on there. But if we go in, guys, let's say that we spend $70,000, $75,000 on a lot. Okay? Let me give myself some room here. You guys understand this, right? You guys understand what we're doing here? All right? We're not functioning on these guys. We're functioning on these guys right here. That 24%, the upper middle class. Okay, I'm going to leave the rest of this stuff up here. Okay? I'm going to leave the rest of this stuff up here because you're going to want to refer back to it. Okay, now, when we go in, guys, let's say the land cost is $75K. Okay? I didn't see too many $1 million homes, nor did I see too much stuff over that $800,000 mark that isn't massive. It doesn't start getting big. So let's do the $750,000 home because each one of these areas, when I just looked it up, supported $750,000 homes. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
That's more around where you guys are at, right? Like I just came from Chicago. Everything we underwrote up there was $900,000 to $1.2 million. I was in Atlanta the week before that. Everything we underwrite was over $1 million. And so it just really depends on the area. So we come in here, let's do $750,000. Same business model, just different area. Now, when we go in, why do we function on this right here, guys? Because people in a market compression will always buy, but they'll buy what they need, not what they want. Does that make sense? They'll go in. You don't need a 4,000 square foot home. You don't need a man cave. You don't need a 6-bedroom. You don't need a 5-car garage. You might want it, but you don't need it. So what happens is families go in and they buy what they need in times of market compressions. A lot of times our market is empty nesters. People that are retirees, that's our market, that's our demographics to a lot of our home buyers in our business model, because they're the ones that can afford the upper middle class homes, or the people that have higher affluency jobs, Now, when we go in and we service these people, guys, in market compressions, they're smart. So they go back in and they say, I'm gonna buy what I need today. I can always sell it later and get what I want later. But they'll go in and they'll buy what they need today because interest rates are high. So when interest rates are high, guys, there's some seats up here, guys. Plenty of seats up here. You guys come on up here. So when the market is thriving, guys, what ends up happening is people get carried away. But when market compresses and it's not, people go back to this right here. You want to make sure that no market compression affects you. How many of you guys how many fix and flippers are in here again? Raise your hand if you fix and flipped a house. Okay, now, truth be told, how many of you guys have done this? You sit back and you go, cool, I made some money on that house. I think I have enough time before the market compresses to get one more in. And then you go back and you buy another lot. And then you get through that one and you make some money. You're like, cool, all right, one more. I think I can time this market just perfect, and I think I can do another one. In fact, maybe let me do two, just to try to push the market. And then you're racing through this one before a market compression, and you go, okay, one more house. And then all of a sudden the market compresses, and you get stuck with that build. How many of you guys have ever done that are fix and flipping? Right? How many of you guys have ever done that?
Yeah, it's
Okay? That's the game.
it's a rush.
It's a game, right? You're rushing through these builds to be able to do them. Don't do it, guys. All you have to do is just build based on what people are going to buy anyways, okay? That's why I hate the fix and flip game. In 2008, guys, we were doing fix and flips because we would put our crews on those homes to be able to fill labor at times when we were in between homes. We had to take one house out of the ground every week back in 2007 and 8. And I would tell you, so we would do fix and flips. 100% of every fix and flip we were doing, we either broke even or we lost money on it, okay? So don't do them, guys. Stay in this market sector. Now, build cost is going to be, national average is 141 per square foot, okay? We're building a little nicer, let's say 165, okay? Now, and most of you guys, how many people are licensed contractors in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So about 10 of you guys. Okay, so the rest of you guys can't get a loan unless you hire a GC or you do an owner build. That's for a whole different topic, and I'll work with you guys and show you guys that. Are you a contractor as well? No? Okay, so you're working through what we're teaching you right now anyways. Okay, cool. So when we go in, guys, we'll underwrite these at 165 a square foot. So if we go in, most of those homes on there were between 2,300 and 2,500 square feet. So let's just call it 2,500 square feet on the house size. So we take a 2,500 square foot house, we buy that lot for $75,000. We multiply that times 165 per square foot. What's 165 times 2,500? What is that?
412.
412? 412 grand. Okay, now we're going to have closing fees. And this is what our loan amount is going to be right here. Okay, so that's going to be 487,000. 487. Okay, this is what we need our loan to be. Because this, we're going to get the bank to pay for the land for us. Okay, we're going to get the land to cut this check for us at closing right here. Okay, now closing fees are going to be about 6%. So if we have a resale price of $750, what's 6% of $750,000, guys? How much is it?
20,000.
More than that.
Yeah.
750,
It's more than 45,000.
$45,000?
25,000.
No, is that the real number? You guys got that?
6% of
Then
45.
Is 745,000, yeah?
45,000, yeah, double up.
45K. Okay, so we have 45K, guys. Now, we're also gonna have our proceeds from our loan amount that we're gonna have to pay. So we have our debt service on our loan, okay? Our debt service on our loan is gonna be probably about $15,000, let's call it 20K. Okay, so we come in now, and we have 487, 497, 507, and then we do 552, is that 552? 552K, is that what that is? We have 20,000, 45,000, and the 487. Is that $552,000? Yep, okay. So this is our total cost, guys.
Yep.
We subtract that from $750,000.
198.
Okay, that's your profit right there, guys. Okay, not a bad day in the office.
Not bad.
Not a bad day in the office, okay? Now, we're building houses that are really nice. If you guys Google some of my houses, you guys can Google some of them right now if you guys want to. We're building them for about $155 a square foot. If you guys Google, the one that we just sold this past week was 301 NM 165 in New Mexico. So just put 301 New Mexico Highway is NM 165 in Placitas, New Mexico. We made about 300 grand on, just shy of 300 grand on that house. Now, that house is 2,500 square feet. We sold it for 800 and like
29.
30,000, 824,000. 824 is what we sold it for. Okay. What's that?
What city was that?
Placitas, New Mexico. It's Albuquerque. It's just outside Albuquerque.
Oh, it's chill.
Okay. Now, when you go in, you can Google that one. You could Google, what other ones do we have? We have, try to remember all the addresses. Oh, you can Google some of the stuff that we even have in Kirkland. Let's give you guys a different city. And you look at the trim outs. What I'm telling you guys to do is go look at the trim outs on these houses. If you guys go in and you look at 27 Pueblo Bonito. So look at 27, I think it's 27. I built all the houses on Pueblo Bonito. Every house on Pueblo Bonito is mine. So I think it's 27 Pueblo Bonito.
Platicas, New Mexico.
Yeah, Placitas, New Mexico. Okay, this is the mountain area that we moved to after the 2008 recession, guys. This is where we landed up moving. Which object is played by strumming? The guitar. TikTok plays games with you, man. Okay, which of these objects are round and bounce? TikTok's getting like, okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. So if you guys go and look at just the trim outs on some of those homes, and then let me give you one in Kirkland, Washington, because this is an entirely different build, guys, in Kirkland. These are like 1,400 square foot houses, and I'm selling for $1.2 million. We're making about 400 grand on every one of these. And let me give you the addresses in Kirkland. We have a bunch of them. This was a bigger subdivision that we just did. We just finished. We're selling off our last couple of units. So like in Kirkland, guys, and the reason I want you guys to look at that is because we're building this stuff for like about $150, $155 a square foot, so that you guys can see what the trim outs actually look like. Okay.
And Jerome, you said that right here, we should be less than that, right? The labor?
Yeah, here in Texas and here in Oklahoma City, you guys' labor is a little bit less. You could probably build these things out for about $150 a square foot, or even $155 if you don't do them perfectly, and you'll still be fine. And you still have enough room to be able to hire a general contractor and get your loans, guys. And that way you can go in. So let me give you guys the Kirkland one. So if we go in and we say, let me see, K 8209. Northeast 124th Street. 8209 Northeast 124th Street. Unit B just sold. We just tied that one up for $1.15 million. Okay? So you guys can look at those ones. Now, if you look at it, that thing's like 1,400 square feet. It's like 1,380 square feet or something. For 1.15 million. That's Kirkland, Washington, guys. Now, those homes cost us about $189 a square foot to build, because labor's a little bit expensive out there. But we're making like 400 grand on every one of those. Different market, it's still the upper middle class. The average living wage out there is $180,000 a year. The tech capital of the world, where Kirkland brand is, it's where LinkedIn is, it's where Microsoft is, where Google is. It's like the tech hub of the world. They're bringing people in from India and paying them, starting to pay $180,000 a year, for tech guys. Yes, sir.
So you said like 155, 160 seems like pretty good.
Yeah, 165 will get you in your underwriting. This is what you guys should be underwriting at 165, 165 a square foot every day. Okay? Just underwrite them at that. If you got a building at 150, you just make more money. That makes sense? No one's gonna hate on you for making more money.
Let me ask you this, so you have like a well-oiled chain, somebody that doesn't have that experience, is it gonna be difficult to beat that market?
Yes.
Yeah, 100% is gonna be difficult. Nothing in life's easy. Yeah, I'd be lying to you if I told you it was gonna be easy. Everything in life takes work, guys, everything. Yeah, it's a real business, guys. I mean, if I sat up here and told you that it was gonna be easy, I'd be lying to you guys. It's not easy. You're gonna have to find contractors, you're gonna have to budget, you're gonna have to budget numbers. Biggest thing is, what systems are you using? I have a 28-year-old system. I got started doing this in 1998. So over the years, since 1998, I have spreadsheets that we built year after year when we were building a bunch of homes to now we only build about 3 or 4 a year of single family homes. Everything else I do is multifamily. The only reason I did that Kirkland project is because he was one of my students, and Ramez was Jordanian, and he was just exceptional as a person. So I partnered and said, if we're going to do this in Kirkland, we've got to just do at least 20 homes. So we landed doing 24 homes together. But now we're moving into multifamily. We have one going, it's getting ready. He's going to go get married in June in Jordan. And then when he comes back from his wedding in Jordan, we're going to break ground on an apartment complex in downtown Seattle. We're taking 100% of that money into an apartment complex. But let me show you guys something, guys. So this book right here has every spreadsheet that my office has ever used for training, for every aspect of the business, for going in and looking at foundations, to looking at plumbing, every spreadsheet for underwriting, everything is right here in this book, okay? And this is just a teaser, guys. It was available on TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop kicked me off for using profanity. They'll let people exploit women. That you can exploit women on TikTok, but you can't use profanity because they're communists. Kicked off of TikTok right now. They always ban me off of TikTok for profanity. I'm like, you guys put naked women all over the place, but yet you can't use the word shit. It's crazy. So we were telling on TikTok Shop, it's going to be available on, that book will be available on Amazon here over the next few weeks. In fact, we have a meeting on it tomorrow on getting it over. Now, in that book, guys, there's a spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet right here, okay? This is how you guys get money, okay? And so when you guys come in, the biggest thing to get money is knowing how to underwrite your deals for the bank. Remember what I started with and I told you guys? You have to know how to function like the house. You guys have to know what the banks are looking for. If you don't know what the banks are looking for, you're not going to get money. Does that make sense? If you guys want money, you got to know what the banks are looking for. The banks are looking for these spreadsheets. We made these spreadsheets. My dad and I sat down on my very first loan, and we put an Excel spreadsheet together back in 1999. And this spreadsheet has evolved over the years, but every single aspect of every single bill in sequential order is on this spreadsheet. It has your project on there, and you can even white label it. You can even put your company name there, look like a badass, and put everything that you need for the build on this spreadsheet, including your management fees, your development fees, your sales taxes, everything. All your fees, every single one of them on these spreadsheets for underwriting. That's how you get bank money, is knowing how to use these spreadsheets. Does that make sense? The real reason that you guys are here today is because I want to invite you guys to come spend an entire weekend with me over in Nashville here, actually on May 3rd and 4th, in a week and a half from now. Okay, we're real close to it. We're doing our Build Wealth Workshop, guys. In our Build Wealth Workshop, we're going to run through that entire spreadsheet to show you guys how to get money. Okay, in the morning, we're going to talk about residential underwriting. In the afternoon, we're going to talk about multifamily underwriting. I'm going to go over multifamily underwriting here in a nutshell real quick in just a moment and explain to you why. Okay, because if you make $198,000, you're going to have to cut about an $85,000 check to the IRS for taxes. Does that make sense? How many of you guys want to take the risk, learn, take all of that, and go write a check to the IRS? Anybody? Because it is work, guys. It's a real business. But we're not putting spaceships on the moons. It's houses, guys. We're not going out there creating a pet rock. It's houses, guys. And so when we go in and we're doing this, guys, everywhere you go, since contractors, most of them are not the most sophisticated group of people in the world. But the ones that are doing well, they are. Does that make sense? And so understanding how to underwrite is super important. Yes?
Nashville is sold out already.
It is. We saved a few tickets for you guys only,
Okay.
but it is sold out. So Harry knows. Yeah, Nashville is 100% sold out, but we saved a few tickets for you guys because I knew I was coming here. Is that cool? We saved a few tickets for you guys only. We only allow 200 people into our workshops. How many of you guys went to my big events, like where I have over 1,000 people in the room on my big events? Anybody? Nobody? Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I'll invite you to one of those. We'll be doing this next year. So we do it in Vegas. I spend over $1 million putting those events on. We have all the lights. We have all the entertainment. We bring in all the fancy speakers and stuff, guys. These are not like this. These are hybrid events where I'm the only speaker and my students. I'll bring up some of my students that have had success. They came from seats just like you guys. They came in. They were sitting in your guys' seats 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now they're telling their stories of what they did over the last couple of years, and they're freaking kicking ass all over the country. And so we have to limit. We sit down in our morning meetings like, okay, who's doing something now? Who's current? Who's staying up with it? And then we cherry pick students out of our community of over 1,800 people. And we said, because you're going to be on stage soon, right? When he gets you there, right?
Yeah.
You've been working with what, 3 months now? Right around the new year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How cool is it to be a part of our community?
Man, my mind is blown in your Zooms.
How about yesterday's call?
Really good. I like it.
Yeah, how long did we spend on that damn thing?
A little while, I was in between meetings, but I try to be in as long as I can.
See, that's why he's not on stage yet, because he's in between meetings. I'm just kidding. I'm joking with you. I'm teasing you. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Let me show you guys where money comes from real quick, because this is important. You guys understand this. You guys understand the benefit of being in Nashville, okay? Because we only have a few seats that we're going to open up to you guys, because we are 100% sold out in Nashville right now. And so we only have a few seats that we're going to open up for you guys today. That's what that QR code is for. And you probably got a link on your phone. Now, when we go in, guys, there's 2 spreadsheets. This one's for you. This one's for budgeting. This spreadsheet is for the bank, okay? This is really important. Go rewatch yesterday's Zoom call. If you didn't watch it, well, rewatch it, bro. Because I broke this shit down in depth yesterday, okay? Like, I'm going to hit it like this big of it. These guys yesterday got a PhD level underwriting understanding of this in their call as part of our community, okay? Now, when you go in, guys, we're underwriting the first spreadsheet for this amount right here, this 412, okay? And with the land, 487. So this one's written for $487,000, okay? Now, this includes your land, your dirt work, your foundation, your framing package, your electrical, plumbing, mechanical, your roofing, your cabinets, your flooring, whole 9 yards, all the way down. And then you put in all your costs in here. $487,000, okay? Now, you put your project out to bid. We teach you guys how to do that stuff. And then once you go in, you know what your project's going to cost you before you even break dirt. You do. And if the numbers aren't adding up before you get there, like I was just with Victor and Linda in our Build Wealth community in Scottsdale a couple weeks ago, and we saved them $130,000 on their bill in less than 2 hours sitting down with their underwriting. They went back, brought it back into us. They took it back out to bid. $130,000. They're building a $1.8 million home though in San Antonio, in the La Cantera area. So their demographics is slightly different to this right here, but $130,000, guys. We go in, you go in, and you underwrite this for $487,000. This is your actual build cost. Now the bank one, you're going to have the same items: the land, the foundation, the framing package, the dirt work, the plumbing, electrical, mechanical, roofing, flooring, fixtures, cabinets, whole 9 yards. But on this one for the bank, you're going to inflate this by 15 to 20% on every single line item. And you're going to put a development fee in there, a project management fee in there. And what you're going to do is you're going to underwrite this thing at about $740,000. Okay? $740,000 is going to be your cost. You know why? Because how many people in here work for free? Does anybody work for free in here? Anybody? How many people, if you're going to work, expect a return on investment, either monetarily or long term? Fix and flippers, raise your hand. You guys work for free. I know you guys work for free. I'm busting your balls. I'm just kidding. Okay, so look, guys, if we go in there, the bank doesn't expect you to work for free. Okay, so the bank knows that contractors are going to get paid at some point in time, right? So when you go in, all I tell you guys is don't take your proceeds on the front end. You take your proceeds on the back end once the house sells. Because if you take your proceeds on the front end, you haven't earned your proceeds yet. You don't earn your proceeds till that house sells. Does that make sense? When a house sells, you take your proceeds. What you do is you collateralize your equity. So when we go in, guys, we take this $740,000. If the bank is going to give you 80% loan to cost, and your cost to build is $740,000, remember your land is in there, right? We have the $487,000 in there. This is your land. What's 80% of $740,000? Pull out your phones. $740,000 times 0.80. 600 grand? Okay, so $600,000. So the bank is willing to give you $600,000. All you need is $487,000. They'll approve you for $600,000. You're not going to take the excess money. You can call that contingency money or whatever you want. Now you look at it from a banking perspective. Remember the house set of rules? The casinos? Remember? Yeah? Okay, so when we go in, guys, and we're looking at the house set of rules, this house is selling for $750,000. If the bank lends you $600,000 and you default on a finished house, the bank has $150,000 in equity in that house that they've collateralized. How is the bank sitting? Good position, bad position?
Positive.
They're sitting good. See, the biggest things that you weren't taught in school is that you're more irrelevant than you think you are. I know all of you guys think you're really important to the banks. You're not. The bank wants to make sure that you have a hand to sign a check, but that's all. That's it. And now they don't even need that because they just auto get it. You just need your thumbs, right?
Are you saying that this all can happen with no money down?
Very little. Yeah, you're still gonna have to go through the process. Okay, so very little to no money down. Okay, so you have to go through the process of getting the money. That includes architecture. That includes your architecture, your survey work, and then it also includes your engineering. Okay, you don't even have to go tie up. All you have to do is tie up the land. You don't even have to buy the land. You can just tie up the land, guys. And what ends up happening is this right here. You have $600,000 the bank is going to give you on a construction note. Your first payment from the bank is going to fund your note right there. Okay. Now, most people think that they have to go in with 20% out of their own pocket and they have to write a check for that 20%. You don't. You go in and it's all paper, guys. You're building equity in an asset. The bank cares about the asset. They don't care about you. They do care about you that you're going to make the payments back to them. But what the banks are looking for is they're looking at the asset. They're not going back and they don't put a picture on their wall. Have you ever went into like a Trump Tower or like the bank and they have a picture of Donald Trump or they have a picture of like Trump Tower? Trump Tower, right? They don't give a shit about Trump. They care about Trump Tower. It's the asset. His name brands it, but it's the asset they're lending on. Does that make sense? Trump only probably owns 10% of that asset. But the reality is they're lending on the asset itself. If the asset doesn't pencil, remember what I showed you guys as far as penciling what assets are worth? If you can't pencil what an asset is worth, it's worth zero to the bank. The bank doesn't give a shit if you have good credit and you're a good person. If you don't have an asset they can collateralize, even if you're a good person, you have an 800 credit score, they're going to give you this, zero. Make sense?
It's true.
It's asset-based, guys. The banks are in the business of lending money. Their money is protected, not by you. You think their money is protected by you. You're not that important. Your money is protecting the bank from the asset that you're building. Does that make sense? We don't reinvent the wheel. We go in and we get comps. Why do I look at what's on Zillow? Why do I care about what's being sold? Why does it matter when I give you guys those addresses of my properties? Because if you go into these exact same areas and you build based on the comps, the banks are going to go in and they're going to take this right here, guys, and they're going to get an appraisal, and the appraisal has to meet that. The appraisal needs to look like exactly what the bank is lending on. When you take the bank, this information right here in these areas that we have written down in here, Mustang or wherever else we're building, you go in, guys, the comps have to support what you're building. What do you build? You don't build what you want. What you want doesn't matter. All that matters is what's being sold in the area. What I look at is I look at what's being sold, what's the price per square foot, and how many days on the market has that house sat. If a house sells for $15,000, $20,000 less, but it sits on the market for 30 days, 60 days lower, I'm going to build that house because I just want to get my money back out. I'd rather make $10,000, $20,000 less and get my money out and move on to the next build. Do the math. If you go in and you're doing these builds in 5 to 6 months, ladies and gentlemen, 5 to 6 months, and if you take 60 extra days and you multiply that over 3-4 builds, you could have went out and made an extra $198,000. If you hold out for that extra $20,000 or $30,000, multiplied times 3 or 4 builds, you're only making an extra $60,000, $70,000. It's stupid. So when you think about it, days on the market matter because your time is more valuable than your profit, because your time will make you more money if you compound your time for profits. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at days on market, and I'm also looking at price per square foot. I want the highest price per square foot at the lowest days on the market. That's what I'm building. I'm going to take that floor plan and I'm going to make it better and I'm going to rebuild it. I've been working side by side with my son's football coach because he's helping him get some D1 offers all over the place. And so I took him under my wings, like biasly, and I'm real truthful about that. And so I took Heath under my wing, and I told Heath, he goes, "What do I build?" I said, "You see that comp right there that sold for $275 a square foot? We're going to sell for $290." I said, "Let's take that floor plan, give it to this architect. He put that thing, give that architect, they made it look like a friggin' old farm ranch house that was built in 1998. And I took it and made it look like a mid-century modern home with different elevations, nicer patio, same square footage, same floor plan. They had a mudroom, which makes no sense. We took out the mudroom. I made the master bedroom closet bigger. I made the pantry bigger, and I made a wraparound floor plan. When you come in the house, you go through the pantry, drop your groceries, walk into the kitchen, or you can come into the other door and you can walk right into the garage. Or you come out of your bedroom, you walk straight into your master bedroom closet, straight into the laundry room, drop your laundry. You come into the kitchen, you walk in from the kitchen right into your pantry. And now that's the only changes I made to the entire floor plan. I just made it better. I made it look like my floor plans. I told them we'll sell this house for $190 a square foot, $290 a square foot versus $275 a square foot. And I said, and you're going to land up making about $180,000 on that house. It's a smaller house right by where he works, right by the high school. Not the most affluent area in town. He picked a different area because he needs to be close to the school because he's a coach and an assistant principal. Okay? But you go in and we built the exact same friggin' house, guys. I just made it look way cooler. So now you walk in the house, you see it, it's like, damn, you see this mid-century, this modern mid-century home that has different elevations to the roof lines. It looks cool instead of just this friggin' pitched roof. Okay? So you just build exactly what's comping out in the area. We comped everything out for him at $275 a square foot, but we're going to sell that thing for $290 a square foot. You watch the story happen. Okay? Now, when we go in, guys, this is money right here, guys. This is how the business model works. Okay? You take that equity that you built, you only need that. You collateralize your equity, and that's how you put money in your pockets. It's all paper. Does that make sense? That's banking, guys. That's banking. How many of you guys want to understand better how banking works? Raise your hands. Okay, then scan the damn QR code and get your ass to Nashville. That's all you need to do. Shut up and register. That's all you got to do. Okay? And there's only a few seats. We're going to open it up. I limited. We really only have like 5 seats left, but we'll probably end up selling 20 today. But we know that we're going to land up, we get a no-show rate of about 10%. So with 200 people, there'll probably be, 20 people that don't show up. So I figured I told my team, don't worry, just oversell it by 20, 30 seats, and we'll still have 200 people there. No problem. Okay? So that's for you guys today. Is that cool? Did I did that for you guys? So we've been sold out. We even closed it off for you guys yesterday, didn't we? I told you guys last night, it's over. Right? Like you can't register, even my community can't. Okay, now here's Nashville, guys, in a nutshell. Okay, morning time, we're going to underwrite residential real estate. Okay, residential real estate. We're going to go through the spreadsheet front and back. I'm going to also teach you guys how to build a business line of credit right there when we sit there. I'm going to take you guys, so for some of you guys that have bad credit, no credit, need credit, or bandwidth is an issue, 100% of you guys need to build business lines of credit. If you're a business owner, most people don't build business lines of credit correctly. And so we're going to build a business line of credit on Saturday morning, first thing, before we even start on this. And we're going to do it live. As we sit there, right in front of you guys, we're going to take somebody from the audience, and you guys are going to be building your business line of credit right when we sit there on Saturday morning in Nashville. Because once you finish your first house, it's going to be the hardest loan you ever get. Once you get to that first loan, guys, you guys are going to need bandwidth. And your bandwidth is only going to be in execution for probably one more home. Unless you know what you're doing, okay? But now you have this, so we'll talk about that on Sunday, okay? On how you compound money. Now, the afternoon, the morning is all single family. How to build these, how to underwrite, and how to get money. Because the truth be told, guys, building's not that hard. Once you get the subs, you understand the game, guys, building's not that hard. You know what's hard? Is getting people's mindset around the banking and the money game. Because if you guys have the money game down, you can figure out the building game with me. We already teach you that. That's easy. Okay, so we focus on money in the morning. Okay, then we go to lunch. Okay, now the tickets to Nashville are $798. I've done it for every other meetup where I knock off $200 the same day of the event. So even though we're sold out, I'm still going to discount them for you for today and today only. Because after tonight, they're not going to be available to you guys anyways. We're going to close it off at midnight anyways. So I'm going to give you guys the same discount that we do. We don't market for these events. You won't see one ad. They're by invite only. The only way you can go to these events is by coming to one of these live meetups. It's the only place that we advertise the meetups. And the reason why is because only 5% of our population invests in themselves, money or time. And one thing that I know is that once I get somebody's ass in these seats, They already have something that the other people that are out there don't. And they've invested the time to be here. Does that make sense? So I already know that by you guys being here, you've already added up to be a higher quality individual with your mindset in the right direction. The reason we only invite you guys to be a part of this is because you guys invested in yourselves today. So you won't see a public advertisement on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere to come to my workshops. We do not market these for sale. The only people that get invited are people that come to our live workshops. That's it, period, or part of our community, okay? Now, so we discounted to $597. If you want to take a spouse or somebody, it's a plus one, $200, okay? So the plus one is $200. So one person, $597, $200 for the plus one, and then the lunch is on me. I pay for your guys' lunch. You guys don't leave anywhere for lunch. We're going to be at the Gaylord in the Gaylord Osprey in Nashville. Beautiful facility. I pay for lunch for you guys. We're eating steaks and we're eating chicken and fish for lunch. Salads and good lunch. It's on me. You guys don't leave anywhere. You guys stay and you guys network. It's a 2-day high intensity workshop. Your brains will be fried. You will be tired on Monday morning. 100% hands down. I'll be doing the training. I'm not going to motivate you guys because you guys don't need motivation. You guys need information. Does that make sense? I'm not going to have Dave Goggins and all you guys. They're my friends. But if you want motivation, you can Google Goggins and go get your motivation from Goggins on Google. Okay? Cool? We're going to go in and get you information on how to get money. The afternoon, guys, we're going to talk multifamily. Why multifamily? Because you guys need to understand this right here, guys. We take that $180,000, guys. The same thing, this house that's 2,500 square feet, you take 2,500 square feet, you add a 1,000 square foot garage, because this is the heated area. You add a garage that's 1,000 square feet, and then you add a 500 square foot patio in the back, 250 square foot patio in the front. You have 35, 40, 4,250 square feet, okay, on a house. That's what the total square footage is on a house. In the afternoon, we're going to talk multifamily. We're going to teach you guys how to build a 4-plex, a 6-unit, an 8-unit piece of real estate. If you go in and you build a 4-unit piece of real estate and each unit averages 1,000 square feet, it's still 4,000 square feet. The same undertaking to build a 4-plex is the same amount of undertaking that it takes to build one single-family home. It's no difference. You just added 3 kitchens. Does that make sense? But same damn undertaking. It is still a residential loan. Or you go in and you build an 8-unit. I like 8 units, okay, because you can make some money. An 8-unit apartment complex will be worth someplace about $2.2 million. $2.2 million on average, with the average rents of about $1,700 a month, okay, for the average rents of 1x1s, 1s, and 2s. Now, $2.2 million, just simple theoretical example, guys. The IRS will allow you to go in and cost segregate this. That means you depreciate the asset. And when you depreciate it, they won't allow you to take the land value. So if you pay $300,000 for the land, that's still $1.9 million that you can cost segregate. Now, there's what's called bonus depreciations, where they allow you to take up to 80% of the depreciation in the very first year. So you could go in, that's still $1.5 million in the very first year. And when you go in, guys, that never expires. That's your net taxable income. So until you earn $1.5 million in net taxable income, you pay $0 in federal income taxes. So when you go in and you build these houses and you're making close to $150,000, $200,000 on your bills, until you get $1.5 million in net taxable revenue, you get $0 in federal income tax liability. And if you're working a full-time job right now, and let's say you're like Eddie, or let's say you're like a Miranda, like somebody who's working a full-time job, like Eddie was a firefighter when he came and started working. He made $65,000 a year. His first year when he came back in, he got a tax rebate of $28,000 for being a firefighter on his first year, coming in and working with us when he did his first, when he bought his first commercial building, doing cost segregation. So what's cool is this, in the first year, you can take it, but it never, ever expires, guys. So you don't pay any income taxes on that. How many people would build these just for the tax benefits? Okay, and what's cool is I think after you pay a mortgage on it at about a 6.5% interest rate, you'll make about $35,000 to $40,000 per year after all your debt service. How many people do you know that worked a government job for 30 plus years and still don't even make that? That'll take you 6 months to build, guys. 1 year. And now you have cash flow forever. That thing will cash flow for you forever. And you'll probably have about $700,000 in equity in that thing. That makes sense? You can sell it, make 700 grand, or you can keep it, let it cash flow forever. That's better than most of America's retirement. And you don't have to spend 30 years getting it. And you get the tax deduction. Okay? Yes, sir.
Now, on that, whenever you underwrite those deals to build maybe like a 4-unit commercial real estate building for rent, in that scenario, do you have to go out and, get leases for that property, like?
Not like commercial buildings.
Okay,
No, not like commercial buildings. Totally different. Because I did retail forever. I stopped doing retail in 2009. And in 2000, we had to do 70% lease up, pre-lease up before we even get a construction loan. On multifamily, you do it based on pro formas, okay? So we'll teach you all that stuff. We have the underwriting spreadsheets. In fact, I even have the underwriting spreadsheet for that, I think, with me. And we're gonna show you guys how to underwrite multifamily real estate, all based on pro formas, okay? Different than retail. Good question, though. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, that's day one. Day one, we go through the underwriting. We go through the cost to build, and we talk about the value of that asset based on the pro formas, and we're gonna underwrite that on the spreadsheets in the afternoon. You're gonna get this entire book electronically in Nashville. So you'll have 100% of this book electronically. The electronic version is better than the paperback version, truth be told. I'll never read a paperback version. But the electronic version, it has 18 different workable Excel spreadsheets. So it has all the underwriting spreadsheets that you can go in and underwrite multifamily and residential real estate, and we're gonna use them in Nashville on Saturday. Now, Sunday is completely different. I've never done Sunday before. Sunday is our millionaire workshop, guys. It's the first time I've ever done this workshop. It's a high intense workshop, and what millionaire workshop is, I took this workshop from my mentor back in the 90s, but for a different business. And what it is, it's to teach you how to compound money, guys. If you guys look at all our searches and say compound your success, it's because most people don't know how to compound money. And here's the truth of it, is that most people will go out, they'll make $198,000 and go spend $250,000 of it. And that's the truth. And most people think that in order to become a millionaire, they have to do this 5 times and not spend any of it. And that's not how you make millions of dollars. The way millionaires make millions of dollars and billionaires become billionaires, they know how to compound money. What they do is they take this and they go get $2 million worth of lending power with this. We'll teach you guys how to build a business line of credit, how to collateralize this to go get $2 million worth of money, to go out and resume into larger assets, and how to go in and invest in 2 years, go in and become millionaires, compounding money. Does that make sense? Now, I know most people are sitting back and going, I just want to build a house and make $198,000. The hardest thing that you guys think you have to do today is build a house. The second you build your first house, you realize that you have a bigger problem than making money. It's keeping it. And for most people, they make the money, and then if we set you guys up for success, we set you up for failure if we don't teach you the millionaire workshop and what we do. Because if you don't understand how millionaires and billionaires protect their money, I don't pay taxes, guys. Last year, we went in, you know how much money I spend on, you guys can't answer this. Do you guys know how much I pay for a family of 4 for health insurance every month? Just guess. Like, guess how much I spend for a family of 4, and I have the best health insurance, probably better than anybody else's health insurance in here. For a family of 4, how much do you think I pay a month for a family of 4?
500?
5,500. What else? 2,800. What else?
Like 2,000.
2,000. You guys are all wrong. I pay $50 a month. You know why? Because I'm low income. I didn't make no money last year. My daughter gets free private schooling because we're low income. And I paid all my stuff. I've been paying taxes for years, guys. And I pay more free property taxes than anybody in here. I'll put money on that. But the thing is, guys, I don't pay federal income taxes because I know this. That makes sense? Now look, ladies and gentlemen, we are sold out. Take advantage of going to Nashville. It's a 9.5, 10-hour drive from here. I came to Oklahoma City because I knew you guys were close enough that if you really wanted to go and you couldn't afford plane tickets, you could drive down. Get out there. Now, here's another opportunity you guys have for today, and here's the biggest thing, guys, is that how many of you guys are going to need help doing this? Just raise your hand. How many of you guys know you'll need help doing this? Okay. How many people that don't need help would love to have help and make sure that they streamline it and just have a second set of eyes on everything you guys do? Okay? Because here's the thing, guys. There's a lot of people in here that are sharp. They can do this 100% on their own. I did it 100% on my own. I didn't have a mentor teaching me how to do this. I had a business mentor when I was in multi-level marketing, but not in this world. I had to figure all this out on my own. But it took me 28 years. I didn't understand what a cap rate was until 15 years of my professional career in here. No one even understands what a cap rate is. that's in here except for one person. So ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. You can streamline it by going in and doing, by having help. And when I started this in 2018, guys, I had no idea I was gonna do an education. I was gonna do education in real estate. Some people ask me, well, Jerome, why do you teach it? I'm like, I don't know. But I'll tell you the truth. What happened is in 2016, we decided to raise capital. And when we decided to raise capital, there was this grant guy that was in front of the room. And I gave this grant guy $250,000 to invest in one of his Houston properties. And then I gave him another $250,000 to invest in one of his Florida properties. And my condition was that I got backstage passes to his 10X Growth Con in February of 2018 in Mandalay Bay. And when I went that day, I met everybody. I met Ty, I met everybody backstage because that was my condition. I wanted backstage passes because I didn't want to be sitting in the audience. I felt like I was like one of them. And I didn't know who the hell any of them were anyways at that time. I didn't even have a Facebook page at that point in time. And so I didn't know that I was going to be in the education space, guys. I never was intended to do this at all. I landed up here on accident. And we started doing this to raise capital. And then Ty Lopez, if you guys know who Ty is, he had what was called a real estate mentor program. He called me one day and he said, hey, bro, you should come on my real estate mentor program and do classes on how you do what you do. And then Ty's the one that told me, he goes, all that multifamily stuff is too complicated for people. You're going to lose everybody. He said, teach them how to do the simplest. And I said, it's building houses. And he goes, let's teach them how to do that. And I put these programs together on his site, and we started getting outreach to people. But not only that, I started having people reach out to me that wanted to invest in our stuff. And I was like, shit, I can teach people how to go in and do real estate, and then I get other people that invest in my assets. And it was a win-win situation. Like, yeah, well, we just closed last Wednesday on my Seagull Loop project, and I was in Orlando, Florida about 4 or 5 weeks ago doing one of these trainings. These Indian gentlemen, that are in there, they own a conglomerate of pharmacies. And we hit it off because I went through pharmacy school, so I started talking to them. And it's in a meetup just like this, and they dropped a check for $1.2 million last week on our Seagull Loop project. 171 units, $60 million development. And from one meetup, guys. Now, most of them, we don't get $1 million, but we'll get 100,000 here, 500,000 there, $250,000 there. Do you guys mind if I go in and raise capital while I teach you guys how to go in and make real money in real estate? You guys mind?
No, that's part of it.
It's part of the game, man.
That's part of it.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
So that's why I do this. And I'll tell you guys that we'll do these workshops, guys, I make nothing on. By the time I pay for the venue, by the time I pay for my staff, the hotel rooms, the food, add it up. With 200 times $589, we don't make no money on these things, guys. We go in and we do these things for free for you guys, because what's going to end up happening is now that we've been doing this for 8 years, our people are coming back to us and they're investing in our projects. So I have people like Steven who owns 2.5% of and I was just talking to him about the loan that I was working on. And some of you guys were sitting here while I was on the phone working with one of the lenders and one of my partners right before we got started today. And I was talking to Steven. But Steven has a house. When is your house done? When does that one come in? Next month. So he's building houses too. He's not just coming in and just working with those guys. He was sitting at my first conference in 2018 at the Irvine Hotel in Irvine, California, 7-8 years ago as a student, just like you guys, and now he builds homes. He also owns 2.5% of a $50 million development, our ICA 150 unit development in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and he owns 2.5% of it. How many people think that's pretty badass? Yeah, pretty freaking cool. He was a white collar investigator, investigated white collar crime as a professional. As a white collar professional, that's what he did for his professional career, and now he's building and developing real estate. Pretty cool. Okay. In Nashville, we're going to have people like Miranda's going to actually be talking up there. Miranda's a stay-at-home mom, mother of 4, and she used to do fix and flips, and now she's building, and she hit millionaire status this past year. Stay-at-home mom, mother of 4, guys. She built 6 homes last year, sold 4 before the end of the year, made over $1 million last year, and she hit millionaire status last year or the year before. No, Eddie hit it the year before. She hit it last year. So we're going to have people like Eddie down there. We're going to have people like Josh Gomez. We're going to have Bruno down there. Immigrant, came from Europe, 6-7 years ago. Opened up a little pizzeria in Little Rock, Arkansas. Now he built his first one. He didn't build any houses. He went after a 27 unit, first build. Just sold it, $1.7 million. Never built ever in his life. 7 years in the United States. Owns a pizzeria in Little Rock, Arkansas. Built a 27 unit through our leadership in the last year. Did the build in 7 months, sold it, $1.7 million in profit. First build ever. Bruno will be down there in Nashville. So those are the type of people you guys get to meet. Now, These people, here's what's different about them, is they came in and they understood if they were gonna need help. And so one of the big things that we do is we have a community that's 1,800 people strong, and we have over 100 people that come into our live calls every single week. That you guys get to bring your projects, and you guys get to bring them to us, and we get to underwrite them for you guys. We get to help you guys with them. We do a training every week where I spend about an hour training you guys on a specific topic that I feel the vast majority of the people in our group need at that point in time. And then we roll into your guys' projects. And then we also have all of our material in sequential order where you guys go in and you guys learn how to buy land, build houses, and generate profits doing it. And the thing is, there's a lot of people in here that want to do this, but how many people would love to get started today? Like, how many of you guys would like to get started with us, learning how to build today? Okay, how many of you guys would love to be a part of a community where you have support with people that are already building right here in your local area? Okay, so we have, who else is in my community that's in here today? Because I only invite a few people. I only bring a few. You're part of our community too, aren't you? Who else? You guys, you're part of my community. Oh, no, you're not part of my community. Okay, cool. So, look, guys, when we come in and we do these, one of the strongest things is right here in Oklahoma City, you probably already have about 20 people, 30 people that are already building right here in Oklahoma City. I came in about a year and 4 months ago to Oklahoma City. It's the only time that I ever done a training here in Oklahoma City. And so we onboarded at that time, we onboarded about 10 or 15 people here in Oklahoma City. All those people now are doing builds, and some of them that aren't doing builds are starting to get out of the ground builds. Are you building yet or not yet?
I already built one.
You already built one? Okay, how much did you make on your first one?
I still have it, 10%.
Yeah, when did you finish it?
2022.
No, that was before, you weren't part of our program yet, were you?
No.
No, okay, so that's not through our stuff. But so you built one, but you didn't sell it. Okay, now we're gonna build it a little different so we can move that thing. Are you renting it?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanna see your camera on in our calls. Okay? I wanna see your camera on my calls. I wanna know you better, okay? I wanna know you better so I can help you with that stuff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when we come in and I do these, I onboard 5 people to come in to be, by 5 people to be a part of our community, okay? And one of the things, guys, is that it takes an investment to be a part of our community, okay? And let me explain something to you guys. You guys remember Coach Ridenhour, my son's coach I was telling you guys about? Let me explain something to you guys, and this is worth its weight. People want like a monetary return on investment. They sit back and go, oh, I don't want to pay for mentorship. Shit, I'll pay for mentorship. When I started doing this stuff again, guys, the first thing I did is I went backstage and I gave Ty Lopez $30,000 that day. He goes, I'm going to start a mastermind. I said, bro, I want to be a part of it. I want to know about it. And I gave him 30 grand right there that day because I was sitting back going, okay, shit, I want to do it. That's how I built my personal brand. Was it worth it? Shit, yeah, we've done well with our personal brand. So everything that you're gonna do in life is gonna cost you something. It's either gonna cost you time or it's gonna cost you money. And the biggest thing is how do you invest that time and that money to make it worth your time? And here's the thing, at the time I was 44 years old in 2018. I sat back and I said, shit, I got a good run at this. You know, one more time, I go, I don't have time to screw around. I told my wife, I said, I ain't gonna mess around with this shit. I said, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna buy my way to the top. And I said, I don't care who I have to pay to get there, I'm gonna buy my way to the top and I'm gonna invest in getting there quick. Because I don't have 15, 20 years to figure this shit out, right? So when I went into to scaling my multifamily and raising capital, I wanted to learn how to do it fast. I did it for 2 years, from 2016 to 18, didn't figure shit out. Didn't raise any capital in 2 years. Then I went into 2018, I started investing in grant stuff, Thai stuff, and within the same friggin' year, I built my Olympia project in Tacoma, Washington. It was a $32 million build, $32 million development, $16 million build. We did a cash out refi, still own that asset today. We did a cash out refi, $10 million cash in pocket, invested in a 14-month build, 150 units. And we raised 100% of the capital. I was zero money out of pocket, and I walked away with $10 million. I landed up giving my investors back their money, and I made $10 million, but it costed me several hundreds of thousands that I had to invest with grant, and thousands of dollars I invested with Ty. Was it worth it? Yes or no? Was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. But let me tell you guys what we just did with Ridenhour, because to be a part of our community, guys, it's a $10,000 one-time investment, one time, and then you're part of our community forever. Most people want a monetary return on investment, guys. I will save you a $10,000 on a fucking window package. When you go in
20 grand on my foundation.
on your I saved you 20 grand on your foundation. Oh, I remember that.
On your Zoom call.
On one call, huh?
Yeah, you have a concrete company, so it was easy for you.
Yeah, he came in, he gave me his numbers on his contract. I said, that's bullshit, you ain't gonna pay that. I went in, we underwrote that thing, and I said, you had a $50-some thousand bid, and we took it
No,
down.
it was all in the 40s.
But how much did we bring it down?
21. You got it for
21
21.
$21,000, okay? Now, did that pay for your enrollment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, everything is icing on the cake from there forward, right? With Coach Reidenhauer, and I made him pay as well. I shouldn't have made him pay, but I made him pay as well. But my son's coach, guys, we sat down. He bought a hard lot. He bought this lot for $35,000, for $45,000. He goes, you can't go wrong with it, right? Well, he had to put a well on that lot, and he had to put a septic tank on that lot, and we didn't have power. We landed up going in. We saved him $7,000 and getting the electrical done by hiring a private contractor. We landed up going in and doing an evaluation over a well and pulling public utilities. The public utilities looked like it was gonna be less expensive by $7,000. It wasn't. So we landed up going in and we found out that a well was gonna be cheaper. I walked him through the process and he landed up saving like $10,000 on the well. And then when we went back in and we underwrote the window package and stuff, he got his window package back to $19,000. We went back in, I reduced down his window package. We got bigger windows, less money. We took his window package down from $18,000 to $10,000 on his window package. We saved him almost $25,000 on 3 items in less than 2 weeks just by underwriting that stuff. Was it worth the investment? Yeah. How many of you guys plan on building one house and never building another house ever again? How many of you guys plan on going in and making $198,000 and go, okay, I'm cool, I'm done, I'm not gonna build no more? Anybody plan on doing that? How many people plan on doing more than one of these? Raise your hand. Okay, because once you have that type of success, then you can pay the dividends. And I always tell the story about when I worked at the grocery store back in 1989, when I started as a cashier at Smith's grocery store, Kroger's, back in 1989. I became a manager back in 1991, and I was handling 10 tills a night as an assistant manager and over $200,000. This was back when food stamps were still paper and welfare was still AFCD, the old welfare check, the AFTC, or what are they called? The AFTC, the little paper checks. We used to run $200,000 a night through our tills. If we were $2.50, higher or lower, we get written up. We get written up 3 times, we were fired. $2.50, guys. I was making $3.85 an hour when I first started there in 1989. And I'll tell you guys that the information that I learned being an assistant manager in the 1990s still pays me today. Every company that I still own and run today is a product of what I learned back in 1989 working at that grocery store and cash handling back in 1991 as an assistant manager at that grocery store. And it pays in dividends. There's one thing that you'll die with, and it's what's up here, guys. My mom has told me that my whole life. The only thing you take with you to your grave is what's up here. Okay? That's it. And so what you learn from me to do this, you'll take to your grave with you. The question is, how many of you guys are ready to ante up and commit? Because the only people who are on board are those that are willing to make a commitment. If you're not willing to make a commitment, we're not willing to take your money. I don't want to feel guilty taking your money if you're not going to get off your ass and go. Does that make sense? Because I'm not in the motivation business. I'm not going to slap your ass every morning and go, come on, guys, let's go. I ain't going to do that shit. If you come in, you're going to get your ass up. You're going to fucking work, period. Does that make sense? I won't take your money unless you get off your fucking ass and work. If you ain't get off your fucking ass and work, don't come in and work with me. Because that ain't the shit we run. Make sense? Period. You guys want to come in, you want to be a part of our community, you're going to fucking work. I ain't going to take your money unless you're going to work. Does that make sense? Because I don't need your money. I don't need you to show up to Nashville. Tickets are sold out. Whether you go or not, I don't fucking care. Period. You know why? Because I'm going to be there. And with or without anybody here, those seats, 100% of them, will be filled. You need to be there. I don't need you there. You need to be there. I don't need you to be a part of my community. My community is going to exist tomorrow with or without you. You need my community. Does that make sense? Here's the difference, though. It's by application. It is only because it's by applications. I want to make sure that we have somebody that's mentally ready to go. So when you get on camera, one thing, do I bust people's balls on camera in front of everybody?
Yeah.
It's like a family, man. And I do. I will bust your fucking ass in front of everybody, embarrass the fuck out of you if you don't go in there and work your ass off. I don't give a shit if you're 90 or if you're fucking 50 or 30. You part of my community, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna work and you're gonna fucking succeed. Because if you don't, you're not gonna fail me. I ain't gonna let you fail me. Make sense? I will bust your ass, and I'll be the first one. And I will bust people's balls in the middle of everybody, won't I? I will stop the whole damn meeting. If there are people fucking around in the meeting and there are noises going on, I will stop that meeting. And I will make sure that shit is right. Because when I take you guys' money, damn it, you're gonna fucking learn and you're gonna make some money. Period. If you don't like
the Zoom calls go way longer also even when you have to pick up your kids because you want somebody you want them to succeed, you don't want them to fail.
Yeah.
So I've seen them go for like a really long time when you have other commitments just so that they don't screw up.
Yeah, and we do that, guys. Like last week, we had 4 hours. One day a week, I commit 2 hours to you guys. And my afternoons get clear. I clear my whole afternoon for you guys. So you not only have the community, you have the community calls every week. I host the calls, and we go in and you guys have everything set up in sequential order. All your paperwork, you have a business in a box. It's ready to go. All you got to do is execute. Look, guys, if you guys get, the reason I'm glad the kids left, because I like to get real with you guys, because I want you guys to know who I am. The person that you see right now, this is who I am, okay? The guy that's a circus clown in front of the room showing you that shit, that's just, that's not who I am. Who I am is this person right here. If you don't like this person, don't enroll. Because this is who I really am, period, okay? But I will get your ass to the finish line. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to pull losers to the finish line. I want to pull winners to the finish line. Like I was taught, you get 7s and 8s and you make them 10s. You don't take 4s to 10s. Taking 4s and 10s to 8 to 4s and 5s to 10s is too fucking hard. I'd rather take a 7 and an 8 and make them a 10. Does that make sense? So when we sit back, guys, we'll help you. We'll finance it. And when you get started on the day of that I presented to you, we give you guys a $2,000 discount to be a part of our community. $2,000 discount. And we'll help you guys finance it. But the thing is, you have to enroll today. 5 of you guys. And I only want 5 of you guys because I can take 5 of you guys under my wing and help you go in. And then you guys get to go to Nashville for like, what is it, $200? I think even less, like $200 or something. Okay? Now, how many of you guys are really, like, no bullshit, how many of you guys are really ready to make a commitment and get started today? Raise your hand. Okay, you can stand over your, go ahead and start. Now you can go ahead and stand up. Go ahead and stand up, sir. Go ahead and stand up. Who else over here? You're ready? Go ahead and stand up, sir. Okay. You guys see Steven in the back right here? Who on this side is ready to sign up? Who's ready to come in? Go ahead and stand up, sir. Okay, I want you guys to come back here and please wait patiently for Steven. But go and see Steven right in the back. Steven will help you guys get enrolled. He'll help you guys. Okay? You guys can go over there and see Steven right now. And go ahead and head over there now. Okay? All right, now for the rest of you guys, what the hell's wrong with you guys? No, I'm just joking. For what? Build Wealth Workshop? The workshop is on May 3rd and 4th. We go from 9 a.m. to 6 o'clock on Saturday, and then we go from 8:30 to 1:30 on Sunday. I do a little bit early. We start a little earlier to get you guys out here to get plane tickets. Okay. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions, guys, on this stuff? Any questions on this stuff?
Yeah, you said architecture, survey.
Architecture, survey, and engineering. Okay? There's about 10,000. Look, guys, when you guys work with us, I have all the affiliates. I got the lenders, I got the bridge lenders, I got the lenders that help you guys credit stack. Like, there's nobody, there's a person that I can get $200,000 in credit stack. I can get every single person in this over $100,000 in credit stack in less than 12 months. Yeah, with all our affiliates. I've been building this shit for 8 years. We have the lenders, we got the affiliates, we got everything. Right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for coming out. Stay network. I'm going to hang out for a little while. Thank you guys. God bless you guys. Let's go out there and kick some fucking ass, guys.